Hello, I'm Tom. I'm a 65-year-old runner. Today's video is going to be about my reluctant transition from a competitive runner to a runner who is more focused on longevity. So I'll start by defining what I mean by a competitive runner as well as what I mean by a runner focused more on longevity. Okay, by competitive, I just simply mean someone who is focused on either winning, as in beating other people in a race, or focused on time, like having time goals such as PRs or maybe running a race better this year than I did last year. So, in other words, it's a competition either against others or against myself. And I might add, I have no difficulties with that concept. I know that competition, a lot of people criticize it, you know, as, especially competition against others. But, you know, that's the American way. And not only the American way, but hey, uh, all the way around the world, and just that's what the Olympics are about: winning gold medals and silver medals and bronze medals, and being upset if you miss getting a bronze medal and place fourth. Remember how Steve Prefontaine was so dejected on placing fourth in the 1972 Munich Olympics? So competition, it involves highs and lows, but hey, that's the way it is in life. I think that's my opinion. So I've been raised that way, like most people. They've been raised to be very competitive. Whether it's in sports or career or you name it. Competition is that's at the heart of our life on this planet, especially in the United States. Okay, I better define what I mean by longevity. By longevity, as a runner, I mean being in it for the long haul. I'm 65 years old, and I would love to be running when I'm 80 or beyond. That would be awesome. But I can't do it with a highly competitive mindset. So longevity as a runner would mean basically not doing speed work, not doing interval training, threshold training, fast-paced training. If you've listened to coaches or read books on runners training, they'll occasionally mention the fact that your chances of injury are greatly increased if you do speed work or faster paced training. So my history as a runner during the last 3 years has been doing, fast paced running, usually kind of a threshold pace or close to anaerobic pace running once a week. About 20% of my running has included hard days like this. However, I've been running into a problem in that these hard training days quite often result in injury. I've never been injured doing long, easy runs. It's only when I do fast runs, and that includes racing as well. There's been a couple of races where I have been injured during the race. And yeah, so longevity means less fast running, more easy running. There you go. And I think that the body handles that better, and my chances of running into my 80s and beyond are greatly increased if I do the slow, easy running. I'm in a transition right now to where I'm having to compromise the in my training, and so especially focusing on easy runs and no longer doing the speed work, no longer doing the harder workouts 20% of the time. So for me, it's just going to be, from here on out, it's going to be long runs. The only little compromise is going to be doing strides. So strides are a good thing to do. Strides are typically, 4 to 8 times 15 to 20-second accelerations with, a minute and a half rest in between, jog rest in between. For me, I do 4 accelerations of about 15 to 20 seconds at either beginning with 5K race pace and then the fourth, and then speeding up a little bit to where the final stride is, roughly 800-meter race pace. Okay, I'm going to continue to do those a couple of times a week just so that my body doesn't undergo shock on race day. Okay, if I'm not going to do hard running workouts, then what am I going to do to develop that anaerobic system or push myself in workouts? What I've decided to do is push during my cross training. My main method of cross training is indoor cycling. And I only run about 3 days a week, with rest days in between. And on the in-between days, I'm doing indoor cycling for about a half hour. So what I've decided to try is a hard cycling day once a week. And on that day, I'll probably do more than 30 minutes. It'll probably be, like a 45-minute cycling session where I just do basically the same thing that I would do when I'm running. Just push myself hard, get that heart rate going up, around threshold level, and, either do, interval training 4 times 2 minutes, hard, with easy jog breaks in between, or just do long threshold cycling sessions of perhaps 10 minutes at a hard pace, where the heart rate and breathing rate are elevated, just to get that, they used to call it the anaerobic engine going, developed. And so I'm going to do that once a week. That'll be my 20% hard workout per week. I try to follow the Steven Seiler's 80-20 method, and I do have a video on the 80-20 system that basically rehashes Steven Seiler and Matt Fitzgerald and how I apply it to my own running. So this will be an experiment. I'll let you know in future videos how I handle doing my hard workouts on my cycling days. And so anyway, the reason is cycling is cross-training. It doesn't stress the legs nearly as much as running does. Running is a lot of pounding and jarring primarily, and the chances of getting injured are greatly increased when you run than when you cycle. Cycling is a non-weight-bearing activity, and I found that things like one injury that crops up with me is a calf injury, and that's something I'm actually recovering from even now, and I'm in the middle of a comeback as we speak. And cycling does not stress my calf muscles at all, in the least, and doesn't stress other muscles and ligaments and tendons and joints either. So cycling is a very gentle way to develop the aerobic engine and the anaerobic engine. So that's my choice of cross training. I do plan to continue to race 5Ks. It's going to be risky though. The only running speed work that I'm going to have to prepare for these 5Ks is, like I said, just the strides. And 5K, and I currently run on a softer surface, kind of a dirt gravel road along the Lieberg Canal. The Lieberg Canal Road, that's my stomping grounds. And it's very gentle. The big challenge is that 5Ks tend to be on pavement. So my single biggest risk for injury at this time is going to be on race day, racing these 5Ks. So we'll see how that goes. I plan on tapering and resting up in the days preceding these 5Ks so that my joints and muscles hopefully will be well rested, strong, recovered when race day comes around. And so I suppose my main goal then for these races will be to not get injured, to be injury free, to complete the race without getting injured. Of course, I'm going to have time goals as well. The time goals may not be as fast as I want, just simply because of my limited training. But hey, I'm finding that I don't really care. If I just sandbag and tell myself all the reasons why I'm not going to run a fast time, then I'm content with the slower time. I'll just make my goals a little bit more realistic, based on the lack of training that I've been doing. All right, thanks for watching this video all the way through. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it helpful. Again, I'm just using my own running experience as an example, and hopefully you can apply some of these lessons I'm learning. Hopefully you can apply it to your own running. Please like and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much.